Now, what he was referencing there was the report that I've been kind of talking about a little bit here. It's the Israeli Civil Commission, which purports to provide evidence of widespread systematic rapes being carried out by Hamas on October 7th. Now, that report has been called into question due to the fact that it turns out that there was no commission. It just has an investigation done by one person. And that one person has had some serious credibility issues in the past. So as Aaron Mate writes on X, the author of this report is a documented fraudster and grifter who even Israeli officials have faulted for inaccurate research. The report approvingly cites other documented fraudsters, including those who spread the beheaded babies hoax, which I sadly fell for myself. And I will always apologize when I get something wrong. I was naive. I just didn't think that anyone would be disgusting enough to make something like that up. But I've learned my lesson. With that in mind, I looked into what Mate was claiming here to confirm it, right? Because I want to make sure I'm not accusing someone of wrongdoing when there isn't any real evidence of it. And it turns out that Mate is correct. So the Israeli publication Ynet reported that Kochev Elkayam Levy is the person who put out the report and is not credible. So an Israeli government source told the paper, quote, people disconnected from her, I'm sure that means like distance themselves from her, because her investigation is not accurate. So the source specifically cited how she spread a false story about Palestinian fighters slicing the belly of a pregnant woman, a story that was proven later to be untrue. And she spread it all over the international media. I remember that story. And so the Israeli government source who spoke to Ynet said the following: it's no joke, little by little, professionals have begun to distance themselves from her because she is unreliable. The paper had also exposed that she tried to pass off, this is amazing, she tried to pass off an old picture of a deceased Kurdish fighter in a completely different country as one of the Israeli October 7th victims. So that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And there's more. So in order to carry out this report, you're gonna ask the government for grants, for money, just like is the case here in the United States, right? If you want to carry out a certain report on behalf of the government, you're going to ask for a grant. That's what she did, okay? So apparently to fund this civil commission, you hear commission, you think there's going to be multiple people involved, it's just her. She says that the commission needed $8 million for its work in 2024, of which 1.5 million would go to management and administration. Management of what? It's a one-person shop. But there is no commission, and she's the only person in this investigation. As Ynet reports, the Israeli government official or a government source told them, at first she really was very active and it was very nice. And then she started calling herself Civil Commission. People got confused. Members of the US Congress turned to people who work with Israel and asked what this was about. Did Israel create a commission? It's a confusing name. And to the question of, is there such a thing at all? Is there such a body? The answer is no. She is the body. She is the Civil Commission. Wow. And you should take a look at what Channel 13 in Israel had to say about her. This is Raviv Drucker, and he also seems to call her credibility into question. Take a look.
צריך לומר, גם הנציבות האזרחית זה שם מאוד מפוצץ, הנציבות זאתי, והיא זאת הנציבות, אין איזה גוף גדול שנציבות שפועלת בכל העולם, זאתי פעולתה ברוכה, זה שרק היא מקבלת, מוזר מאוד.
So Drucker says they mention her starting a civil commission to raise awareness. It bears mentioning that the name Civil Commission is very bombastic. The commission is her and she is the commission. So I'm showing you Israeli media, homeboys and homegirls. I'm not making this up. This is what Israel has to say about her, while this commission and this report is being sold to Americans as credible. Again, I don't doubt that there have been instances of rape carried out. The question is whether or not it was a tool of war that was systematically used by Hamas. The other thing that I find a little strange, and Israelis bordering Gaza also find a little strange, is that their home surveillance was deleted. You know, their outside surveillance cameras, the footage was deleted by the government. Why? Why? Why did they delete that? That's kind of weird. Haaretz reported on that, and I find that incredibly strange. So look, at the end of the day, my take is go ahead, Israel, go ahead and sue the New York Times. Hopefully you're able to do it, and I hope we go through a nice, lengthy discovery process. But my suspicion here is that they're using the Alan Dershowitz model of trying to intimidate people into silence. And that is to threaten lawsuits. He's done it to me, and I said, bring it on. I didn't say anything defamatory. I'm ready to go. Did he sue me? No, of course not. He doesn't want to go through a discovery process, of course. So I think that's what this is really about. And hopefully Kristof, along with the entirety of the New York Times, their management, stick by him and stick by their reporting and refuse to be intimidated. We'll see.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.